the Commanders got a shocking upset over the Detroit Lions in a 45-31 game. Jared Goff, 4 total turnovers, 3 interceptions, and a fumble, and even they had Jameson Williams out there throwing an interception as well. It was a complete mess, an utter and complete mess. Meanwhile, Jayden Daniels under pressure was basically perfect. This is a rookie quarterback we're talking, and the Commanders make it to the NFC Championship game for the first time since 1991. If I'm not mistaken, I want to make sure I get this fact checked just to be sure. Pretty sure 1991 they won the Super Bowl. So there's an opportunity for the Commanders just to keep setting records. Yeah, 1991 they won the Super Bowl that year. Jayden Daniels could be the first rookie quarterback to make and subsequently win the Super Bowl if they continue the trend of the 1991 Washington team. So here's my question to you. How surprising was Washington's win over the Detroit Lions?
Initially, I was quite surprised by it, but the more I thought about it, it's not that surprising when you consider the Lions and all the injuries they had on defense and injuries during this game they had. I think that in the end, I'm not so sure it was that surprising. I think the Washington, you could argue they won the game in the second quarter. They scored 28 points. Detroit scored 14. It was the highest scoring second quarter in the history of the playoffs. The first quarter, Washington was down by 4. They went to plus 10. In the second quarter, they were plus 3 in the third quarter and wound up plus 14 with a 45-31 win. Very impressive. Jayden Daniels, the guy's got ice water in his veins for a rookie. 22 of 31, 299 yards, 2 TDs, but even more importantly, 16 rushes for 51 yards. Robinson had a good game for them too, 15 rushes, 77 yards, and 2 TDs. The receiver core, Brown, almost 100 yards on 6 catches. McLaurin always has some key catches, 4 catches, 87 yards, and a TD. One of them was a 58-yard touchdown, which was very impressive. My takeaway, 5 turnovers, 3 interceptions and a lost fumble by Goff, and a poor defensive performance down the Lions' Super Bowl dream. And also Daniels' outstanding performance, converting 3 out of 4 fourth downs, which is, can't forget that. And excellent decision-making show why he is the Rookie of the Year for sure. No questions asked. Dan Campbell, his comments after the game, give them credit. They earned that game, and we didn't. We were here to get to the show, and we fell short, and that hurts. Washington, I said this, I think, when we were going over the games before, they had nothing to lose. They could play loose. They hadn't been to the Super Bowl in 33 years, and it's the first playoff game in 19 years. Daniels, he said, it's a surreal moment. I've always believed we could achieve more than people give us credit for. Only the second rookie to knock off a 1 seed. Flacco did it in 2009 when he beat Tennessee. I'd say the mistakes by the Lions included the option play pass from Williams. I don't know what they were thinking about there. And that's on Ben Johnson, I think. He called those plays, that sequence of plays. They just had gotten a key first down. They were moving the ball. They were only behind by 3 points. And they throw that intercept. They have Jameson Williams throwing the ball. That was crazy.
This was the play right after that big first down they had, which was the Jameson Williams pick.
Yeah, and then the Commanders went right down the field. So that was, to me, that was a turning point in the game, and it was on the Lions. I think they hurt themselves with that play. That's a self-inflicted wound. Washington has a rematch against Philly. It's a rubber match. I'd say a couple additional Lions takeaways I had. A near-perfect season wasted. They beat themselves. Goff implodes at the worst possible time. More injured defensive starters to cap off a cursed season. No edge to the defense. Optimism for the road ahead. I'm not so sure. The defensive players will be back. That's true, but looks like both their offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator will be gone. Those guys are going to be hard to replace.
Absolutely. Now, here's what I'm going to start with. I'm not going to start with today's take. Instead, I'm going to start with what I said on Friday's show about what could happen in this game. So, my original take, I want everyone out there to listen to what I said on Friday's show about what could happen in this game. Please take a listen. If Jared Goff gets risky, which he has done at times, underthrows or too far in one direction, and you pick him off, you have to capitalize on those turnovers. Because we've already seen Jared Goff's had a 5-interception game. And I think if Jayden Daniels comes in a situation where his defense picks off Jared Goff even 2 or 3 times, then I think he's going to put up some form of points, which would then put maybe Dan Campbell in a Buffalo Bills situation. Well, think about this for a second. Let's talk about the turnovers. So originally, they get a fumble in the first quarter. They followed up with a touchdown. Then they get an interception. It's the end of the half. They end up punting at the beginning of the second half. But then they get another pick, turn it into a touchdown, an interception, and then it's the end of the game. So they converted those turnovers into points. The only time that they didn't do that was when it was at the end of the half. So Jayden Daniels and this Commanders team did exactly what I thought could happen. Jared Goff in a big-time moment. He came up very, very small. And I have a serious problem, and I understand that Ben Johnson just got a job here. But let's take a look at that interception. This is a play you might dial up when you're up by 10, not down by 10. Also, Jameson Williams, he wasn't open for a second. Why are you throwing that football, man? Wasn't open for a single second.
3 there.
What?
Were they down by 10 when that happened?
Yeah, they're down by 10.
Okay, yeah.
You're not up by 10, you're down by 10.
They were driving. They could have easily made it down by 3.
A big-time first down. Literally, the play before, I think it was a 21-yard first down.
Yeah.
And you followed up with the trick play when you're down by 10, and you throw it into essentially double coverage, and he was never open for a single second. I'm not faulting Jameson Williams because he's not a quarterback, but that's just a bad decision. So, yes, you're at fault, but I'm not saying that, you're an idiot because you're not a quarterback. That was your only pass, and it was just a bad throw in general. But I give serious props for this. Said way more about the Commanders than the Detroit Lions, because this is a rookie quarterback going to a team that had the worst defense in the NFL and one of the worst scoring offenses in the NFL. And he turned them around completely to being the number 2 overall pick, to flipping it around and potentially being a Super Bowl candidate, a Super Bowl team, if you go up against the Eagles, who have an injured quarterback. So there's an opportunity for Jayden Daniels to do something shocking and have a rookie quarterback win the Super Bowl. And I would say, let's just say that everybody expects the Chiefs game to go the way the Chiefs games normally go, a bad penalty in a crucial moment. Well, then we could potentially be seeing the Commanders and the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. And I think the way that Jayden Daniels is playing, especially under pressure, the numbers are insane. He went 7-9 under pressure, 106 yards. That was a 97.2 PFF grade. If he could do that against the Chiefs defense, Jayden Daniels is going to be hoisting a Lombardi in his rookie year, because he's that type of guy. We've seen him in big-time moments already. He step up big time. And we're actually in a similar situation in the NFC Championship game than we were a couple weeks ago. Jalen Hurts gets banged up, may not even play, which might bring out either Kenny Pickett or Tanner McNee or whatever his name is. And what will that be? That will be A.J. Brown, and that'll be Saquon Barkley. And we already know what that outcome looked like because we already saw it. Jayden Daniels, game-winning touchdown, Commanders win. So there's a shot for Jayden Daniels to do the unthinkable, and I believe they're 5.5-point underdogs in this game. For me, I'm taking Commanders plus 5.5. I already took Commanders plus 8.5 before this game even started because I thought Jayden Daniels would make it interesting. My score was Detroit 31, Commanders 26. In this game, Jalen Hurts is not 100%. We saw what this matchup looked like, and the last time these teams played. Jayden Daniels was lights out late. The defense stepped up in a crucial moment, and Jayden Daniels scored a game-winning touchdown at the very end. So for me, I know we're not making our picks quite, yet. Maybe we have some shocking picks on Friday's show, but I think there's a serious shot with the way that Jayden Daniels played against this Detroit team that was 15-2. Just played, a tremendous game against the Minnesota Vikings. Allowed him to score only 9 points and step up in a big crucial moment and then capitalize on the turnovers. I think that's huge for a Commanders team that, like I mentioned, was one of the worst teams in the NFL. They had the number 2 overall pick. They were 25th in scoring offense and dead last in scoring defense.
Yeah, well,
they've completely flipped it around.
I think the Lions, you could argue they beat themselves. With 5 turnovers, you're not going to win a game doing that. But the Commanders took advantage of those, and they scored points off those turnovers. And Jayden Daniels playing lights out. I mean, Tom Brady said, amazing performance. The guy is so cool and under pressure. He's not upset at all. I mean, that's a big playoff game. Maybe he's just too young to know any better, that this is a huge game, and he came out and performed like it was regular season game and didn't seem to be upset about anything. He credits God. He said, it's all in God's hands. I'm just out there doing the best I can using my talents. And that's a formula that's working well for him. And I'd say that the Eagles should be very worried about in this game, particularly with Jalen Hurts banged up, may not even play. The Commanders can focus on Barkley. And, the wide receivers for the Eagles, they haven't really had that much action. They've been using the Saquon the most of all the games. He was the offense in this game for the most part. So, and we're going to talk about the Rams and the Eagles here in a minute. But I think the Eagles have a lot to worry about.
I would completely agree. And think about it. What I said in my analysis on Friday was Detroit needs to pound the ball because Washington, while it has about an average defense this year, their rushing defense is one of the worst in the league, and in fact, it's ranked 30th in the NFL. The Lions averaged 8.7 yards a carry. They rushed for over 200 yards and scored 3 rushing touchdowns, and they lost by 14 points.
Ben Johnson called that game. I mean, he could have kept it on the ground. He could have kept it more, a more conservative game, and he didn't. And that play with Jameson Williams throwing the ball was that should never have been in the game plan. They should never have done that, particularly after they just got a big first down. Why did Williams even throw the ball? He looked down; it was covered.
Right.
He should never have even thrown the ball. He should have thrown it out of bounds or run
with it.
The
play again. He was never open. Jameer Gibbs was never open at all.
Yeah. I don't know. Did they talk to him much about that? I would have thought they would have said, "Hey, guess what? If it's anywhere near that the guy is covered, throw it out of bounds. You're not a quarterback, man. It's only a surprise. If it's a surprise and our guy is wide open, throw it to him. But otherwise, throw it out of bounds." And he didn't do it. I'm sure he feels terrible about it.
I would too. Hi, everybody. Thank you for watching this clip of the Harvey Hour. If you want to watch the full show, you can by clicking the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to take the show with you on the go, it is available wherever you get your podcast. We go live here on YouTube every single Tuesday and Friday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. So make sure you hit that like button, that subscribe button, and the notification bell to get notified whenever we upload a video and whenever we go live.